I'm so excited to be here with you. I'm Carissa Wiley from sprinkledwithglitter.com, and boy, do I have some fun for you guys today. Martin's here. Hey guy, I'm so glad you joined me. I have crafting, chatting. We're going to learn about turnabouts today. I have a great color palette for you. I have a giveaway for you. It's all the things happening here on a Thursday at a weird time, I know. But my life has been insane this week. Insane, crazy. You know, you've seen me everywhere. I'm doing fine. I'm like really good. It's just like there's been a lot of things going on, and I'm getting ready to, I won't be in town tomorrow, so that's why I am doing my normal Friday live here on Thursday. We're using Concord and 9th products today. We're mixing with Christina Werner. And we're just gonna have a good time. But before we get into the crafting, I wanted to remind you that if you have not already subscribed to my channel, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Also, click that notification bell. That helps you get notified anytime I go live, anytime I post a video. And then also, I love it when you're here, either live or on the replay. I love it when you chat along in that chat box if you're here live. I love it when you leave me a comment below if you're watching on the replay. And I love it when you give me a thumbs up. So if you could do all those things, I would really appreciate it. Cordelia says, we are excited you're here. Well, I'm excited to be here. It's one of my favorite things to do is hang out with you all, and I'm not even making that up. I enjoy it every time I come along here. And I feel like if I'm gonna create something anyway, I might as well bring you along for the journey. Am I right or am I right? Okay, let's talk about some stuff, shall we? I have links to the products I'll be using today in the YouTube description below. If you decide to shop over at concordand9th.com, check out the new color situation. There's a few colors that are going away from their current line, but the not the end colors, but the 2024 excuse me, and the 2025 colors that they brought in, those are going to become a part of the permanent line. There are new neutrals that are available. Now the neutrals, they were available in a pack before, but if you wanted a whole bunch of Almond, which is my favorite, you could only buy the neutrals pack and get 2 at a time, but now they have inks and neutrals that match. I don't have them for you today. I talked to Lindsay over at Concord and 9th, and she said that they had just gotten them, so I didn't get any in time to do that. But we're gonna use products from the February release, and let me take you down to the desktop here and look at the color palette today. We've got a whole spectrum of greens, and then we have some beautiful colors for some florals because we are going to be using the Heirloom Turnabout Stamp Set. Now, I thought this one would be a good one to show you because it actually contains 2 stamps that make up the entire pattern, which is this adorable, delicate floral pattern. It's a great way to make your own pattern paper. You can do this in a tone-on-tone on a colored cardstock. Elle says, OMG, I love Almond too. Oh, Carissa, we're so similar. We are. I almost used Almond this morning on another card project that I was filming. Martin says, the colors are so good. Thank you so much. Anyway, so we'll be using that. I'm going to show you how to do a turnabout in both the Altenew Stamp Wheel 2.0 as well as in a Misti stamping tool. And so we're going to walk you through that today. I'm also going to use some other products, the coordinating dies. I might use the Dill-ightful Dies. I'm not sure, but I am for sure going to use Love, Hugs, and Hello from the Christina Werner release. And I may use this stripe stamp from the Silly Goose set because I am obsessed with it. I love that stripe. Okay, let's move these out of the way and let's talk giveaway real quick before I get into it. Today I have a scrapbook and cards today Let's Stamp Together kit to give away to you. This was designed by my friend Megan Andrew. It was released in March of 2025 and it comes with stamps, dies, stencils, a magnetic backer for your dies. This is all from Scrapbook and Cards Today, and a little introduction to the kit. Now, if you joined me yesterday on the SCT channel, you know that I created this card with this kit, and it is so cute. You can watch that live replay over on the Scrapbook and Cards Today YouTube channel, but I am giving away this kit today because I had 2 of them, and I wanted to let you know that if you are not a part of their Let's Stamp Together subscription program, the window is open now. They only open this window for subscribers a few times a year, and it is open now through February 28th. So if you want to get in on this, you totally should. You're going to get a kit like this in the little folder every month delivered to your door. Plus you're going to get 2 live classes and other inspiration. And just to show you what this kind of looks like in action, I taught one of the live classes for January's kit for 2026. My dog is totally digging in the bed underneath the thing. And these are the cards that I taught with the Concord and 9th kit from January of 2026. So this was last month's kit. And I taught these in a live class, and you get that with your subscription. So I'll be giving away this kit today, and if you want to check out more information on the Let's Stamp Together subscription program from Scrapbook and Cards Today, head on over to their website and do that. Okay, so now that we've gotten that all out of the way, and how I'm going to do that giveaway, by the way, is I'm just going to pick someone random from the live chat at the end of this live stream. So just chat away, and that will be your chance to enter and win. So with our Turnabout stamp sets, this one has 2 stamps, but with every Turnabout stamp set, you're gonna get the Turnabout stamp, and you're also going to get the alignment guides. Now don't throw these away because you need them. And I'm gonna show you how to use these to position your stamp in your stamp positioning tool, no matter what it is. Now you need a stamp positioning tool for a Turnabout, but you can use either a Misti or you can use the Altenew Stamp Wheel 2.0. I'm going to show you that first. I'm sorry, I'm digging over here to find it. It was underneath my little grip mat there. But I'm going to show you the Stamp Wheel 2.0 first. Now this is a great stamping platform. It has a photopolymer mat. Underneath the mat, I also have this little thin grip mat here, which gives me more defined lines to kind of line things up. And I really like having those layered up together. Now, when you're doing a Turnabout, you can get a piece of cardstock out of this patterned cardstock that measures 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches. Or you can really, you can actually cut your cardstock down to a 4.25 by 5.5 or an A2 size and stamp directly on an A2 size. It doesn't matter, but I'm gonna show you on a 5.5 by 5.5 because the reason I like to do it this way is sometimes I'll end up trimming this down for an A2 size card, but then I'll have strips left over that I'm able to use on as like an accent on another card. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to line this up in the center of my stamp wheel. Okay, so I'm just kind of like looking, let me see my black lines. Okay, we're good there. So we're right in the center of the stamp wheel. I'm just using the grid marks to help me, okay? Now, when you're using a Misti stamping tool, you will need a Turnabout jig. But when you are using the Stamp Wheel 2.0, you can use the regular stamp wheel too, like the OG stamp wheel. You do not need the Turnabout jig because you have a flip plate that will rotate instead. So instead of rotating the cardstock in the stamp wheel, we're going to rotate the stamp. Now, every time I use my stamp wheel, I like to make sure that this little opening where I actually hang it under my desk is at my 12 o'clock position. Okay, so that's my starting point, and that's how I use it. But as we go, we're going to turn this plate 90 degrees each time and restamp this pattern, which is going to leave us with an overall pattern paper. Okay. Now I remember why I haven't used them as much. My paper size is usually wrong, so it doesn't stamp correctly. No, that's not true. You can use any paper size as long as you place it in the center of your stamp wheel, or if you align it with the guides, the A2 size guides on your Turnabout jig. In fact, maybe I'll just show you because we'll do a couple of these today. Now, to line this up, what you need to do is you need to take your alignment guide and place it right in the center of your cardstock. Now, on this 5.5 by 5.5 square piece of cardstock, you can see that all of these X lines are going to hit the exact corners of my cardstock. So they're coming out through the corners, and I know that that is in the right spot. Now I'm going to take the coordinating stamp from the stamp set. I happen to put down the florals first. So I'm going to grab the floral stamp, and we're going to align the floral stamp with this black marking alignment guide underneath, okay? So let's see. This 3-prong flower or 3-flower set goes right there. This is all one piece, but it's kind of like a S-shaped piece. So I'm going to just make sure that I just kind of align these. They don't have to be perfect, like super perfect, but you want to get as close as possible to aligning the stamp with the pattern underneath. You can see I need to adjust over here just a little bit, okay? So now I have that photopolymer stamp aligned with the black alignment guide underneath, okay? And what I'll do is I will take my flip plate for my stamp wheel. I'm going to make sure that that dot or the opening to hold it up or hang it is at the very top, and I'm going to pick up my stamp. Now, once I have my stamp mounted on the flip plate, I can pull this up and I can remove the alignment guide. I won't need that anymore for this particular stamping, okay? Now what we're gonna do, it's a brand new stamp, so I'm just gonna kind of rub my fingers over it. I'm gonna start with my first color of ink, which is watermelon. And I'm just going to ink up the little florals. There's not a whole lot. And I'm being very careful that I don't get too much ink all over my Turnabout stamp. But I'm gonna ink those up. And now, with this opening at the top, so that's my 12 o'clock position, I'm going to stamp this onto my cardstock, okay? So I have a question, is this a different flip plate than what comes with it? No, this is the flip plate that came with it for me. So I don't know if there is a different one, but when I got it, this is the one that came with it. I'm not sure if they changed it or not. But this is the one I received with my Stamp Wheel 2.0. Okay, so you see that. We're gonna wipe our stamp so that we're not getting watermelon ink into our next color. And we're going to take and ink it again. But this time, we are going to ink it with, let's do Tide Pool ink, okay? So I'm inking the stamp with Tide Pool ink, just like this. Now, if you don't get a perfect stamping on the first time and you want to re-stamp any of these images, because you're using a stamp positioning tool, you can just re-ink and stamp again. I got a little bit of ink here on the open part of the stamp, so I'm just gonna wipe that away. Now, this time that I stamp, instead of stamping with this at the 12 o'clock position, I'm gonna move it to the 3 o'clock position. So I'm just going to take my flip plate, I'm gonna flip it over and make sure that this little hole opening is at the 3 o'clock position. So I'm just turning the stamp rather than the cardstock and stamping that down. Okay, so there you go, just like that. Now, the next time that we ink and stamp, we're gonna take this opening at the top, see that little hole, and we're gonna rotate it to the 6 o'clock position so it's directly down, okay? Before I do that, I'm gonna wipe up my stamp, and we're going to use, I'm kind of tempted to use a baby wipe for this because I don't wanna get blue into my next color, which is a super light nectar. And we don't want that to be contaminated by the blue. So we're gonna wipe it, we're gonna ink it, and then we're gonna rotate another 90 degrees so that the opening of the flip plate is towards the bottom. Now, if it's easier for you, you can mark this with like a enamel dot or something. So now I have my flip plate. I'm gonna rotate it to where that opening is all the way in the 6 o'clock position, and then place that down. Well, here's the deal, Gigi. I could mark the hole, but do you see that it's off of my screen anyway? So you won't see it. But what I could do, I do have an idea. Okay, so now I'm in the 6 o'clock position and I've stamped that. Then we will wipe this up, dry it off, ink in Wildberry. And then for the final stamping, we're gonna go to the 9 o'clock position, okay? So Wildberry, hole is here, rotating it to the 9 o'clock position here and stamping that, okay? So now I have all of my florals on my cardstock. Let's go ahead and wipe this up. I'm gonna try to do something to make the hole a little more, make this a little more visible to you. But first I'm gonna clean up the stamp. You can see it got stained, but that's not a big deal. I'm gonna place it back on the backer sheet. And now this is a 2-step process for this turnabout. Now, before I go into the next part, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place this on here. I'm gonna put a piece of tape on my stamp wheel. Okay, and I'm gonna put an arrow on it that shows you where that opening is, okay? So the opening is here, okay? Now, as I turn this, you'll be able to see where that opening is, okay? So hopefully that will help a little bit. Okay, so we're at the 12 o'clock position, okay? So now we need to do our leafery, as I like to call it. And in order to do that, we have to line up the leaf stamp. So you can see it shows you this side up. You should be able to read that. I'm going to position it where it is in the center of my 5.5 by 5.5 piece of cardstock. Okay, just getting that in there. And then again, I'm gonna take that stamp from the backer sheet, line it up. Flip plates available with different grip mats or grid marks on them. The stamp wheel, the original stamp wheel has those. I feel like maybe the 2.0 also has various plates available, but I would have to look at that to see. You can let me know. Okay, so now we're going to do this. This is the only one I feel like it's not quite right. Did I not line this up? Okay, my first color, hold on. My first color was watermelon, correct? Yeah, I had that, okay. Felt like maybe I didn't line that up right, but let's do this again. Center point, center point, center point. Okay, we're there. And we're gonna take our stamp and we're lining up the design of the stamp with the design on that alignment guide. So you can see right here, I'm lined up with that black marking underneath, and then I'm gonna take my flip plate and I am going to pick it up. So I'm gonna make sure that that opening is at the 12 o'clock, oops, I got it off there just a little bit, hold on. I didn't put that down right away in the right spot, so I need to readjust. And I know that this seems like a lot of steps, but honestly, it's one of those situations, and I think some of you who are experienced with turnabouts can probably attest to this. Once you do it and you get used to the process, it's really not that hard. No, Dawn, Don Thomas asked if the only difference between the 2.0 version and the original stamp wheel is that the side comes off. No, this is a larger platform than the original one. Okay, so now I have the stamp mounted and I'm going to remove the alignment guide. I will always store that with my stamps. And then I am going to, I just like to kind of do this. And we're going to start with Stardust. So I have 4 greens here. And I'm going to take Stardust, ink up my stamp, and with that opening at the 12 o'clock position, I'm going to stamp it down, okay? Once you try it a couple of times, muscle memory kicks in. That is correct, Catherine. I agree with that. Pink Paper and Things says, this video is going to get a lot of rewatches for me. Okay, so now we've stamped our first color. I'm flipping this over so I can ink again in our next color, which is going to be Avocado. Just inking up the stamp here in Avocado ink. And this time when I stamp, I am going to rotate it to where I put that. That's so funny. I put that on the wrong side of the flip plate. But where this opening is at the 3 o'clock position. So I'm just lining it up with my stamp wheel, pressing it down, flipping it over, and re-inking. Now, when I'm not teaching these, I can blow through these because I know what I'm doing. But like I said, because I'm teaching, it takes a second or two longer to kind of get you guys oriented to what I'm doing. So now I have my third color of green, which is Grasshopper. And now I need to put my opening in the 6 o'clock position. So think you're just rotating the stamp 90 degrees every time. We're gonna stamp that. That's Grasshopper, okay? And then finally, we just need one more color, and that is Pistachio. Okay, so with the Stamp Wheel 2.0, we're rotating the stamp, not the paper. So now I'm coming to the 9 o'clock position here and stamping. Okay, Stamp Wheel makes it easier for sure. I'm going to show you the Misti here in just a second, but here is what that pattern paper looks like when you're done. Okay, so we have 4 colors of florals, 4 colors of green, and isn't it so, so cute? Okay, now let's do it with the Misti stamping tool. And because one of my friends here said that she never gets it right because she feels like her paper's wrong, I'm going to show you that you can actually stamp it on a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece of cardstock and get the same result. You just have to have it in the center. So stamp is clean. Let's bring in the Misti stamping tool. Now here's the deal with the Misti stamping tool. You need to figure out which corner you're going to use. Now I always use the lower right hand corner. And for the Misti stamping tool, you also need the Turnabout jig, okay? So that's the difference. Now with the Turnabout jig, it is a sticky mat, has a low tack stick to it, and we're going to use a piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece of cardstock. I'm going to hold this up so you can see the grid lines on your Turnabout jig, okay? It looks like this. Do you see these lines here? These rectangles? That's, if you're using an A2 size piece of cardstock, that's where you want to line up your A2 cardstock. So let me cut a piece of cardstock. I'm totally wearing like it's laundry day and my pants are not something I normally wear. So don't look. Okay. So 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece of cardstock. We're going to line it up centered in those registration marks on our Turnabout jig. So hold on. I want to show you this with colored cardstock underneath. So I'm going to line it up with this rectangle right here. That's my A2 rectangle hold on, I'm having a hard time getting it to stick all the way. So I'm gonna lay it down so I can do this. Okay, so do you see this rectangle here? Now I can put a 5.5 by 5.5 inch piece of cardstock on this as well and do a larger piece, but here's how you do a 4.25 by 5.5. So once I have that in place, then we're gonna take our alignment guide again. I think we'll do our leaves first this time. So we have it with this side up where we can read it, and we're gonna place it in the center. Now, again, I'm gonna put some cardstock underneath this so you guys can see this a little bit better, hopefully. There's a lot going on in the background there. Okay, do you see the X mark on this? That X mark, let me see if I can turn this. No, it's too long. That X mark is where you line up your alignment guide. So you're gonna line up the white X with the black X, making sure you get it centered. Okay. So just like that, once it falls into place, then you can take and line up your stamp with the pattern that's on your alignment guide. So I have that right there. It's lined up with my white X. And now I will grab my leaf stamp and align it with that pattern again. Okay, now this time, instead of rotating the stamp, we're going to rotate the cardstock. Okay, so that's the difference. Get out my stamp wheel and use it. I love that. Okay, so we picked up the stamp with our Misti, and we're going to start inking again. Now, if you ever get lost, let me show you. In the corner of your alignment guide, there's number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. So you know which corner you're in. We're starting with number 1 here in the upper right-hand corner. I'm gonna put the paper behind it because I just feel like it's better for you guys to see some of that anyway. Okay, so we have number 1 there. And we're going to ink up with Stardust. And make sure we're in that lower corner when we stamp and stamp. Now some of it's gonna stamp off, but that's okay. We can wipe that up with a baby wipe because we're using that smaller piece of cardstock. Okay, so once we've stamped color number 1, we're gonna take our jig and we're gonna rotate it 90 degrees to have the number 2 in the upper corner. Then we're going to take our next color of ink. We're going to ink up our stamp, which this is Avocado. We're going to stamp that in position number 2. Okay. Then we're going to take our Turnabout jig and we're going to rotate it where number 3 is in that upper right-hand corner. We're gonna ink with Grasshopper. So we've already turned, we're just turning our paper rather than our actual stamp. And then we're gonna go to stencil or position number 4. So we've got 3, now we're gonna go to 4 and we're gonna do Pistachio, okay? So the stamp wheel's nice because you get to leave your paper in place, but you can make this work with either the Misti or the stamp wheel. Okay, so now we have all 4 of our leaves stamped. We're going to just wipe up our stamp real quick, put it back, and then we're gonna line up. You're getting a lot of Turnabout today because this has a 2-step process to it. Not all of the Turnabout stamps have 2 stamps. There are some that you just stamp 1 stamp and it builds the pattern. This one just allows you to build a even more multicolored pattern because it has the leaves on a separate layer. I'm just trying to figure out where this goes. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to put it back the way it belongs. The 2 leaves. Okay, this goes like this. Boom, just like that. That's my backer. Okay, so now we need to take the alignment guide for the florals. We're gonna place this back into our corner. We're gonna grab the alignment guide for the florals right here, okay? This side up, we're going to align it with the X in the center of our turnabout jig. Once I have it in place, then I will take my floral stamp. Feminine and dainty. It reminds me, it really does remind me of a blanket that I had as a baby. It was like this little rosebud blanket. It had a yellow ruffle around the edge. It was my actual, you know, like my blanket, my security blanket for many years of my life. And it had these dainty little pink rosebuds with green floral, I mean like greenery, and then like a yellow edge. Okay, so the stamp is now lined up with the alignment guide. I'm gonna pick it up with the lid of the Misti and then remove the alignment guide. Then we can start stamping with our colors again. So we have watermelon. Don't forget, we have number 1 in the upper right-hand corner. Okay, I got a little carried away with my pressure there. So number 1, just like that. Okay, then we're going to pick this up. We're going to rotate to position 2. I'm gonna clean up my stamp because I made a mess of it. Position 2 is Tide Pool. Oh my goodness, that looks yucky. Hold on. Stamp was still yucky. So we're going to position 2. We're going to do Tide Pool. And we're stamping in position 2. Keep in mind, we're using a totally different size piece of cardstock, but we can use either one and it works. Okay, position 2 is done. We're going to pick up our jig, turn it to position 3. Ink up our stamp. Again, this time I'm going to wipe up again because we're using nectar. So we'll use nectar. Oh, thank you guys. I'm glad that you're enjoying the instruction on this. This is really intense on the instruction today. We're not just crafting today, we're learning. Hopefully you always learn a little something or you're inspired in some way. So this is the 3rd position, going in with nectar. Now we're going to rotate to position 4, ink up with Wildberry, and we will finish our pattern for this piece now. Just like that. Okay. So now we have 1 done in the stamp wheel, 1 done in the Misti, 1 that measures 5.5 by 5.5, and 1 that measures 4 1/4 by 5.5. Now, as far as the ink that's on your Turnabout jig, all you need to do, I'm gonna wipe up my stamp first, but all you need to do is take a baby wipe and wipe that off, or you can run it under some water in the sink, just some water, and you will get that ink off. Okay. Oh, I'm so glad you like this. Isn't it fun? And then you can pick your own colors and make your own pattern paper. And that's really the beauty of Turnabout stamps, and where it all came from is this idea that you can make your own custom pattern paper. It's designed by designers, so it's not hard to do, you know? Okay, so here we go. 2 Turnabout pieces, 4 1/4 by 5.5, 5.5 by 5.5, Misti, stamp wheel, it all works. Okay, how do you come up with your color palette? I always struggle when I'm using multiple colors. Well, I knew I wanted like 4 different shades of green, so I started there. I look at the product that I'm using and I really do try to see, okay, what colors do I need to make this product work? For me, I needed some floral colors, and I'm using some of these colors, similar colors, as I'm working through a release right now that I'm doing all the same colors. So it kind of came out, it's not exactly like the palette that I'm using, but it's similar to the palette that I'm using for another release. So there you have it. I need help with how to use pattern paper. Well, I'm going to show you how to use this. So that's kind of the same. I'm going to have a little sip of coffee because I'm still not done with coffee today. And now what I think we're going to do, I like to use pattern paper not necessarily as an all over thing. For me, it feels like a lot when I have a whole panel of pattern paper. So oftentimes I will trim this smaller to where it will fit in the middle of my 5.5, 4 1/4, or my A2 size card, you know. And I'm thinking maybe we use one of these shapes from the coordinating dies, and I'm thinking that we use some of the die cuts as well. So I'm gonna die cut some of these from various colors of cardstock. I have just some coordinating colors over here, just the same colors. So let's decide what we want. So I'm gonna do some greens with my pistachio. And I want to mix my greens because I like to mix greens. I like more than one color of green when I'm doing something. So we'll do some avocado as well so that we have like a light and a dark. So let's run those through. You love the wavy shape. Isn't it fun? It's a little different, huh? You need ideas for a stenciled background. Well, I really feel like stenciling and pattern papers can be used in similar ways. If you're feeling like you're struggling with the stenciled background, you need to determine what it is that you're struggling with. Sometimes it feels overwhelming when there's pattern everywhere over the card. And so it may just be a matter of cropping that down a little bit to simplify just a little bit. So maybe that's what it is. You will very rarely see me do pattern over my entire card. Rarely. Unless it's like a cover plate, and then it tends to be more of like a dimensional tone-on-tone situation. Okay, I'm going to cut these little buds from Nectar and these little florals from Watermelon. And I'm gonna do just a tiny bit of ink blending on those. My friend Mindy totally inspired me. I'm so glad you guys love this color palette. The Wildberry is very intense compared to some of the other colors. And I was worried that it might be too much, but I really feel like it's the perfect balance to the darker greens that we have. We have some darker, deeper greens, and I think that it all works together really nicely. So, just my opinion. You can have a different opinion. I'm okay with that. Okay, I just lost 2 of my florals. Let's get these guys off. All right, so now we have these. We have some greenery. I'm not sure what color I want to do this yet, but I'm liking the Stardust. So let's do that. The colors are perfect. Love that pop of Wildberry. So glad you guys like that. We're gonna add just a touch more Wildberry in a different way here in just a moment. Isn't that fun? That Stardust, okay. So we have that. And now I'm gonna set this aside for just a second. I'm gonna get, Woo! We've got lots of things happening over here. I'm going to grab my grip mat. I'm going to put these here. Okay. And I am going to, you know what? You can actually use, let's just use it since it's out. You can use your Turnabout jig to hold things in place as you blend. So I'll just do that today because it's already out. Okay. So I'm going to put these onto my grip mat, hold them in place. I'm going to grab a micro blending brush from Alta New, and I am going to ink these with some Wildberry. Now my friend Mindy, she inspired me. When she taught her projects with the January 2026 Let's Stamp Together kit, she blended creamsicle and Wildberry, and it was so beautiful. And I thought, I need to blend Wildberry onto other colors more often. So I'm blending it onto both the nectar and the watermelon. Isn't that a fun blend? Look at that. Ah, so pretty. So pretty. Okay, so you get those original colors as the underlayer, and you get that Wildberry kind of popping out on the top, which is beautiful. Okay, so now we can just pop these off of the mat. I'm going to use some tweezers. Happy Thursday! Happy Thursday. Hi, Mindy. We were just talking about you. Did you hear me? Have you been here? Mindy, I was just talking about how you inspired this color blending with the Wildberry onto nectar, and I did Wildberry onto watermelon, but you inspired me with your Let's Stamp Together cards from January of 2026 with the Concord and 9th kit where you did creamsicle and Wildberry. So that's where this inspired. So I'm going to wipe that up. Gorgeous blend, really pretty color. It's so pretty. Okay, so we have these elements here, which will go kind of on there. And we'll probably end up trimming this down so that we have a little bit of like white space to let our eye rest. And I'm thinking I'm going to use the Hugs sentiment from Christina Werner's Love Hugs Hello Dies. Now, this has a word die, which these cut out the letters, and a shadow die, but the shadow die creates an impression on the cardstock underneath to show you where your ears were burning. What did I do? You inspired me, Mindy. That's what you did. But it will show you where to put these individual letters. I don't know how well it's going to work on vellum, but we will see because I'm going to cut my shadow layer out of vellum. And what I'm thinking, we could do gold letters, but I'm thinking we do colorful letters. So like we do, well, should we do all one color or should we do multicolor? Let's try all of them in the watermelon first and see what happens. If we like that, we'll stick with it. If not, then we'll mix 4 different colors from this color palette. But I think a multi-colored sentiment could be fun. The ink blending on colored cardstock adds to so much detail. I agree. And here's the deal, Julie. I think sometimes we are so stuck on blending in the same color that we die cut from, but when you die cut in a color that's a little bit different, whether it's darker or whatever, maybe slightly different, it really creates a beautiful blend. Now, one of my favorite blends, if you've been around here for very long, you know this. One of my favorite blends is Tide Pool and Blueberry, but now This Nectar and Wildberry, or the Watermelon and Wildberry is another favorite. Wildberry, also Nectar and Watermelon is a favorite blend for me. So you can see the outline on the vellum, which will help you put together these letters in the right spot, but I kind of want to just temporarily put them onto the backer to see if I like the all pink or if I want to go with various colors. And honestly, I'm thinking I want to go with various colors. The beauty of doing various colors is that we can do more than one sentiment, which means we can make more than one card. Maybe not today, but we will have the elements. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do maybe the floral colors. If we did floral colors, these would be our 4 letters. The thing about this, no, it might work. I think the watermelon kind of balances it out. So let's cut the hugs word from each of these 4 different colors of cardstock. I really like the Wildberry. Mindy, we've been talking all about Turnabouts today. We've done 2 Turnabout backgrounds, but we're glad you stopped by because look how happy everyone is to see you. Now, the thing is, one thing I will tell you is that color order can really matter when you're doing like a multicolored sentiment like this. Sometimes you put down a color. I'm kind of tempted to do a green with this rather than the blue. Let's try. Hold on. I'm rethinking. Shuffling. Yes. My dogs probably think I'm talking to them because that's my tone of yes when I tell them that they're doing something good. Concord and Ninth has such pretty colors. They do a really good job on their colors. And they announced yesterday that there are new colors coming this year, and I am thrilled. I know nothing about it. I wish I had insider information. I probably wouldn't spill if I did have insider information, but nevertheless, I wish I had it. So let's go with these 4 colors. Yes, the color palette is gorgeous. Isn't it fun? And I really do love this Stardust brought in. I think it's just such a fun look. Okay, come on. Okay, so now we have our 4 colors, and we've got to get them in the right order, or it's going to look weird, right? So we have to kind of balance the dark colors and the light colors throughout the sentiment, or it's going to look funny. I'm not going to try to do it on the vellum as I'm doing this because it will make it hard. Okay, so there's one option. This is another option. We could do the deep colors on the ends. I don't know. The Wildberry's throwing me. I will be honest. Okay, let's try to switch this. Oh, that's better. I think that's better. So let's go with that. And then if we had to reverse this, how I would do it, I would do this. So same order, same neighbors. Okay, let's put these aside. Do we like this? Are we good with this? Question, do you by chance have the neutrals to show on camera? I don't. I wish I did. I addressed that at the beginning of the live stream because I announced that Concord and Ninth had come out. I actually have some of the neutrals. I could show them to you. But I have a pack of the neutrals, which is how they used to come. So they're the same neutrals that they had before. They just added ivory and shortbread. And now instead of having to buy them in a pack where you just get like 2 of each color, you can get them in packs of 10. I'm gonna put this down so you can see what I'm doing. There's an outline on this. I'm putting liquid glue and I'm lining up with the outline on the shadow layer and adding my letters. I'm gonna just actually do it like this. So I'm putting the glue within the outline. And then I'm gonna grab a perfect picker and do this. Oh, they're packs of 12. Hey, who's here? Is it Lindsay? Thanks for joining, Lindsay, or whoever it is on the other end for Concord and Ninth. We just did a whole thing about turnabouts. We're using this gorgeous heirloom turnabout today to create a card. And I just went through all of the ways to do it with either the stamp wheel or the Misti stamping tool. And we're mixing and matching some Christina Werner with some Concord and Ninth, and we're having a good time today. It's me, it's Lindsay. You guys, I wish you could know Lindsay. She is like the best. Love her to death. Can't wait to see you, Lindsay. I get to come to Utah and see Lindsay this summer. So for summer camp. Oh, I didn't even put a link to summer camp below. Have you signed up? I'm sorry to tell you that if you did not sign up earlier, you missed the early bird. However, you can still get in on summer camp if you want to get in for summer camp 2026 and have a chance of being in my cabin tide pool. I like using vellum as a shadow behind sentiments. I do too. Oh, people are sad about carnation. Honestly, I feel like if I had to pick between carnation and watermelon, because they're bringing in watermelon as a permanent color, I'm going to say I'm going to pick watermelon every single time. And I feel like carnation is similar enough to some of the others that you can kind of get away with not having the carnation. This is just my opinion, probably an unpopular opinion, clearly by the comments below, but I think they made the right decision. I'm going to stand with my friends at C9 here on this one. And like I said, I could not be more thrilled that some of these are going to be permanent colors now, because I thought one day I was going to lose watermelon, and I would literally cry if I lost watermelon. All signed up for summer camp, says Mrs. Whitlock. Awesome. I'm so glad. Maybe you'll be in my cabin. Maybe you'll be in Megan's cabin. My friend Megan's going to be there too. It's just going to be a good time. Okay, there's our sentiment. It took a second to put it together, but it's worth it. And now we have all the pieces to make another sentiment. And now we have to figure out this card, because I'm thinking what we do is we have this. We have a couple of the leaferys. Well, okay, so I will tell you these. You can still get these colors right now while they're in stock. So if it's something that you love, you can use the links below to go shop over at Concord and Ninth, and you can pick up some carnation cardstock and ink while it's still available. So just keep that in mind. It's not gone yet. It's not forever. I mean, it's not gone yet. So you still have a chance to kind of come in and get some colors that are sad. Grape soda. you're sad about grape soda. Again, I think I love the plumberry so much that I personally can give up grape soda. I know we're all so different, right? Like some people are purple people and some people are, you know, pink people. I'm definitely a pink girl. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Oh, it's been sold out? Oh no. I didn't realize that the carnation was already sold out. You may be able to get it over at like scrapbook.com. I would check there. They may still have some in stock. Okay. Excuse me. I have like a tickle in my throat today. Not like a sick tickle, just like a dry tickle. Okay, we're just building in some greenery and some interest. Fig is pretty close to grape soda and it's sticking around. I like the tone of fig. I do prefer the tone of fig, I think, over the grape soda. But I mean, if I'm going to go with a purple, I mean, I think, honestly, that Wildberry could, it's posing as purple today against all these pinks. So I think Wildberry could be a good purple. Plumberry is an amazing purple. Fig is a great purple. It just has a little more depth to it. So I think you guys, I think they'll probably come out with some colors that wow us, and we will forget about our sadness very, very soon. That just tends to be how it is. I'm just going to say, question, is there a list of the colors that are being discontinued? There is a list of colors being discontinued. I do not have it. However, if you go over to the Concord and 9th Instagram, Greg did a reel yesterday explaining all the changes to the colors. So there is information about the neutrals along with the new ivory and shortbread. So the neutrals that were around before that were available in a combo pack of all the neutrals are now available individually. So, and you can get them in packs of 12 along with ink that coordinates, which is fantastic because you know we all need good neutral inks, right? This guy might have to go up on the edge here. I like that. I'm going to put some liquid glue and we're going to put it on the edge of the hugs. And then we're going to go with one more leaf. The neighbor's dog is barking. And I will tell you that it used to be insanity around here with the neighbor's dog barking because it would make my dogs bark. But honestly, the training that we've been doing with them has been so amazing. Grape soda, carnation, nutmeg, and dove are going away. Thank you. You are all just the best. Okay, is this not cute? This could be adorable on its own, but how cute is it on the backer? I think we need a mat for this. And I'm wondering if we bring it in green. Okay. I could do gold, but I think the gold might just clash with the Stardust. Oh, we could do blue because we don't have any blue cardstock. Let's try that. Okay. We're actually pretty close. What was your thought process behind placing all the florals around the H? Do you mean like how I arranged them around the H, or the fact that I actually just put them around the H? Because I liked the idea of weighting this a little bit heavier towards one side. But then also I just kind of start tucking things in and trying to balance the color. So you can see I have the nectar here and the nectar here. And then I mix the greens. So I have avocado, pistachio, avocado, pistachio, pistachio, avocado, so that my greens are mixed and kind of balancing all the color throughout. So that's kind of how I got that. I don't like the blue. I'm going to be honest. This is the story of creating. Is it not? You cut it and you're like, nah, nope, that's not it. And that's okay, because it's just paper and I can cut something else. You love the little florals. Honestly, the color arrangement for the letters is amazing. I think it turned out really good. I'm digging it. Let's try the gold, because my other gut tells me, I don't know that I'm going to like the gold, but honestly, I could really like nectar behind this. So let's try gold. Might as well. We can save it for another project. Catherine is leaning towards what I'm leaning towards on the nectar. What about black or champagne? Black is not, although I did create a card with a ton of black on it today, and you guys are going to just have to stick around to see it. Not generally my go-to. It feels a little harsh at times for me. My stomach is growling. You guys, it's so much. It's like lunchtime. This is why I don't do this at this time normally, because this is a time when I usually break my fast. Vellum could be pretty. This is the time I usually break my fast of the day. Like I fast from about 7:30 the night before till about 12 or 12:30, and I get really hungry. Nectar or vellum. We're going to try both, unless nectar is the winner. I kind of like the nectar, not going to lie. Okay, we're not going to make the final decision yet because we're not putting it together, and that's how it goes for me. I don't have to make the final decision, but we're going to cut a vellum just in case. Everybody's voting nectar or vellum. I like the nectar so much, and you know what I was going to do was stamp some stripes on this, and I totally forgot because I was going to use that silly Goose stamp set. Bye, babe. But vellum could be the winner. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, one of those two will be the winner. But here's where I think people struggle with pattern paper. I don't think I want this to be the whole card, right? I mean, it just, sometimes when you're not used to working with pattern, a pattern all over your card can feel extremely overwhelming to you. And that's where I think most people kind of are having a more difficult time using pattern paper. So what I like to do is just take and kind of crop this in, bring it to a smaller space on my card. I gotta make sure that I have this big enough though, so that you know, I've got plenty of the pattern, but not too much. You know, just right. It's like the bears, Goldilocks and the three bears. Not enough, just right. Okay, so let's cut this. We're gonna line it up. Do you see how when I shift it, I get more of one color or the other? So let's shift here. See if we like this. I think so. Okay, I think that's gonna be nice. So we're gonna trim this down. These are nesting A2 dies from Spellbinders, and they have an A set and a B set, and I have both. And if you get both the A and the B set, you have like the finest mats that you could ever wish for. Oh, and it didn't cut through all the way. I never have that problem. I think my mats are getting ready to be replaced again. That happens. I'm just gonna line it back up with the indentions that are already made and recut. You can't watch? What? Love the crop. I like the offset. Do you reuse the scraps? It's such a pretty pattern. Yeah. And that's why I also created a 5.5 by 5.5, because if you cut a 4 1/4 by 5.5 out of this, you still have a nice chunk over there that you can use for a totally different card. So see, then I have this strip that can actually be used as just a strip of pattern paper on another card. So I'm thinking we're going to go here, just like that. Okay. And now I'm going to take this one and I'm going to go one up. So let's see. It's going to be this one here. And I'm going to die cut that from, anybody want to guess? Please let us know if you will do an unboxing of the Anna Griffin. I am. I've just been extremely busy this week and I'm going out of town. So I couldn't do it this weekend. Next weekend I'm teaching an event, so that's off the table, but I'm trying to work on that. And I want to do it live with you guys so that you can see the whole process, you know? So I will work on an unboxing of the Anna Griffin Guild, I believe is what it's called. And so I think I'm going to use the Stardust under the pattern. I like Stardust. Wildberry. Wildberry could be pretty. Could be a little intense. So I'm thinking it's going to be the most delicate border. That's what I love about these dies and having both sets. I didn't link them, but I'll add them later. See that? That's good. Got one more thing I want. I want just one strip of color coming across here through our sentiment. And this is going to be the hard part. I just hit my knee. Ow. But I think we shall do watermelon. So this is from a Concord and 9th set that has like the angles. I actually have two sets together, so not sure which one it is, but it's just like a little angled piece. You like the border, love the nectar plus Stardust. Unexpected, right? But such a good color. Yes, yes, yes. I love this. Are we good with the watermelon there? Now this also kind of serves to break up this pattern a little bit if the pattern is something you're not necessarily used to. And so I think that that makes for a nice kind of break. So glad I bought this Turnabout, says Sam. Don't forget I have a giveaway at the end. You had me finally start using Stardust very recently. My ink and paper were gathering dust. Now I love it. It is a color that is, I feel like, a chameleon color. Like it can be either a yellow or a green depending on what you use it with. And I kind of like colors that it's like, is it that? Is it pink? Is it purple? Is it pink? Is it orange? I kind of like colors like that. And so I think Stardust is a wonderful chameleon color is what I call it. And it's literally one of my favorites. Okay, foam adhesive. The strip adds the perfect touch. Yes, I agree. We're gonna put some distance, some dimension behind this, and we will add dimension behind this as well, so that we will end up like that. It's gonna be thick, but I'm okay with that. We're gonna do liquid glue on the back of this. Honestly, I should have put this on before I did the matte. The reason is I really think this should end at the white layer, not the Stardust layer, but I may be able to kind of peel this up and just trim away what I need. So let's see if we can do that. Yeah, we can do that. I only need to peel it up as far as I need to trim it, and then I can get my scissors under there. Trim it there. And let's do this. Trim it there. Beautiful. Put it back down. Card surgery done. And then we have just that little strip kind of coming through, breaking our pattern just a little bit. I know some of you were like, I struggle to use pattern paper. Hopefully a couple of these tips are helping you figure out kind of how to make pattern paper work for you. I have an idea. Hold on, because I know y'all want to see the neutrals, and I have a pack of neutrals here, but not all of them are labeled. So I'm going to pull them out, but I have an idea for the card base, and it may or may not work, but let me just tell you, this is one of my favorite neutrals, and this is called Almond. I don't know, I think it could work. It's kind of like this peachy neutral. It's not an ivory. It's definitely not. No surgery scheduled for today. I kind of like it. This is the new Almond. So you guys let me know what you think about the Almond. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. We could see it on white if we want. But it is a great skin tone. But look how fun that is. Isn't that pretty? How do we feel about it on Almond? Since you can get a full 12 pack now. I'm going to have to go back and link Almond. I didn't link it. You like it. You love it. I like the Almond. I love this card. It's beautiful. Isn't it fun? Okay. Unless you all know that I said yesterday I did a live stream on the Scrapbook and Cards Today channel. And I said, and maybe some of you will think this is funny, but you know how we vote here a lot on colors and that sort of thing? What if I had a gavel, like a sparkly gold gavel, where when I make the decision, it is like, I'm like, it's done. And this is what I'm going with. I think I need a gavel. Wildberry for the card. You could do Wildberry. I don't think I want anything that intense. And for those of you who want to see the neutrals, stick around. I have them pulled out. I do not like Wildberry. That's just me. But if you liked it, you could totally use Wildberry. Don't like it. I think this is a fun. And now that I don't have to hoard my Almond because I can get 12 packs of it, I'm going to use it. Another, I have not seen the Concord and 9th Ivory in person yet, but I'm excited because oh, 2 ivory and shortbread. Why there is 2 ivory and shortbread, dye ink and pigment. Well, the pigment is a light, okay, so a pigment ink, you would use that on like a darker colored cardstock, and because it's a light ink, then you would be able to see it on a darker colored cardstock. So you would pick the pigment ink if you could see using it on the darker color cardstock. However, you would want to choose the dye ink if you're planning on stamping it on white cardstock. Or if you want to do a tone-on-tone stamp on the same color cardstock. So say you have ivory cardstock and you want to do a tone-on-tone, you would use a dye ink for that. Oh, I'm glad you guys like this. And the fact, I honestly didn't know about the neutrals and the new colors until yesterday. And the fact that we were able to pull in this Almond, I think is absolutely perfect. Okay, look at that. So cute. I want to finish it with just a few confetti pieces. I know, it's not surprising. I'm super predictable, but I feel like, you know, it's very colorful and I just want some, oh, there isn't a dye ink. Okay, I thought it was just a pigment, but I thought maybe I had misread something. So, okay, it's just pigment for the ivory and the shortbread. And that's so you could use them in place of like a stark white on a darker colored cardstock, or you could even use them on like a colored cardstock, like a watermelon or something, and get that color. Sometimes when you're like a white dye ink doesn't really make sense if you think about it. So they are in that kind of lighter white family. So it makes more sense to do it as a pigment ink than it does a dye ink. I thought maybe, I was like, whoa. Okay, so lies, if you heard that earlier, erase that from your brain. There is not a pigment and a dye ink in ivory and shortbread. It is just pigment. Okay, so let's do this. Just a few little sparkles throughout. I talked about this somewhere the other day about how I do my embellishments, and I cannot remember whose channel I was on when I said it, but I kind of like to do triangles and kind of bring it like the sparkle through the design so it kind of catches the eye. So you kind of get like brought down through the leaves, through the florals. Melissa says, I'm not big on white or light colored pigment ink. It never dries. Sometimes, depending on how juicy the pad is, you may have to heat set it. It's also a good option. White pigment ink is a great option for heat embossing, white heat embossing. It really allows you to see where your ink is, make sure you have good coverage. And then if for some reason you don't get embossing powder in all of the areas, then it also kind of helps disguise any spots that may not have gotten covered properly. So it's kind of fun for a, you know, white on dark cardstock look. I'm gonna slide this guy over just a tiny, so he's behind that leaf. And I think that's our card for today. You guys, honestly, I know that we're like an hour and 20 minutes in, but we did a lot of instruction with Turnabout today. We built 2 Turnabout backgrounds with both the Misti and the Stamp Wheel 2.0. And so I think that we did really great on time for this card. The triangle tip, yes. So triangles, toot-toot, and triangle, toot-toot. And I usually do a group of 3 and a group of 2, or 2 groups of 3. So I'll hold this up where you can see those. So here's my triangle, boom, boom, boom. And here's my triangle, boom, boom, boom. Okay, so I have 2 triangles going on. That is my card for today. If you're late, don't worry, you can watch on the replay. I want to show you the other Turnabout that we created. So I still have this scrap that I can use on a card project, and I have a 5.5 by 5.5 piece that I can use for a card. Oh, you guys love it. I'm so glad. Let's look at the neutrals that I have on hand that were originally available in the neutrals paper pack, but that you can now get as a 12 pack. I think I may have some of them and not all of them. So we had a look at Almond, which is this one here that we used on our card. It is like just under like a blush, I would say. Like it's just kind of a little less pink than a blush, and I love it. Okay, then we have, this should be Sand, and then this should be Peanut, I believe. I hope I'm not getting these wrong. I'm going by here. Okay, Peanut, Hazelnut, Cocoa, and espresso. I think I have all of them but ivory and shortbread. Okay, so let's have a look at these. They look green on my screen. They are not this green. They look like this one really looks green, not green in real life. They're really good neutrals. Okay, so we have almond, sand, peanut, hazelnut, cocoa, and espresso. This is such a dark, rich, beautiful brown. Love it so much. And again, if you haven't checked it out already, and I'll throw a link when we're done in the YouTube description below to the new color thing over at Concord and 9th. But these before were available in one pack. They came like this, where you got one sheet of each color. Okay, so you got 6 sheets, one of each color. So if you only get one piece of almond, you're like, I gotta hoard it. Now these are available in packs of 12, so you can pick the colors that you want. There's some great skin tones in here. There's some great deep, rich, dark browns. Remember, nutmeg is going away. Let me show you what nutmeg looks like so that you have a comparison. Nutmeg has a lot more red in it, in my opinion. So nutmeg's gonna go away and you're going to end up with, this would be the closest to it, which is the cocoa. So again, almond, sand, peanut, hazelnut, cocoa, espresso. This is, I know one piece is a tease, but these are great for skin tones. You can see you have a variety that you can get here in skin tones, and you can even do some ink blending, especially if you're getting the coordinating inks. This is especially perfect for that little girl who's on the little inner tube. That's the die set I'm thinking about. And then this is nutmeg, so this one's going away. So those are the neutrals that are now available over at Concord and 9th in 12 packs. You can buy one or all. I feel like my screen is throwing them very green. I do not feel like they are this green in person. So I just wanted to let you know. Okay, so that's the neutrals. We used the almond today on this card, which I think is a fun way to finish this card off. I do need to pick a winner. For those of you who were not here earlier, we are giving away the Let's Stamp Together kit from March of 2025. This is a subscription kit from Scrapbook and Cards Today that includes not only stamps, dies, stencils, a magnetic sheet, and the folder every month, but it also includes 2 live classes and other inspiration over on the Scrapbook and Cards Today YouTube channel and all of that. So it's a great subscription. I taught I created this card yesterday on the Scrapbook and Cards Today YouTube channel with this kit. And I also created and taught one of the classes with the Concord and 9th kit for Let's Stamp Together in January. And I created these cards here with that kit. So they get a bunch of different companies to design the kit month by month. The subscription window for the Let's Stamp Together kit closes on Saturday. So if you want to get in on this subscription kit, you'll want to make sure you head on over, and I do have a link below for that. So I am going to close my eyes, scroll up, and we're going to pick a winner for this kit. And Laura Knudsen, you are the winner of the Let's Stamp Together kit. I would love for you to email me, Carissa@sprinkledwithglitter.com, to claim your kit and send me your mailing address so that I can get this mailed out to you. You will get this in the mail and you'll be able to create. And if you want to go watch the live stream of me creating this Make-A-Wish card over on the Scrapbook and Cards Today channel, you can. And this color palette is a Concord and 9th color palette. This is Tide Pool, Watermelon, Sorbet, and Honeycomb. Those are the colors I used. And of course I used the matte gold cardstock as well. So congratulations, Laura Knudsen. I hope you enjoy your kit so much. Do any of you have any questions before I head out for the day? I'm so glad that you all came here, whether you're watching live or on the replay. It means so much that you come and you spend your time here hanging out with me. I think it's so much fun. It's one of the best parts of my week. I hope that when you're here, you found a little light, you found a little joy, you found a little inspiration. If you found any of those things, then my goal has been met, but I hope you found all three. And I'm so glad you're all here. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notifications here. I'll have lots of inspiration coming to you next week as well. And then also don't forget to hit the thumbs up button on this video that you're watching now. Which sequins did you use? I used the Pretty Pink Posh Sparkling Clear Confetti Mix. You can see I have very few. It's a mix of sizes, and it's a nice one because it doesn't like draw color from your project. Sometimes some of the more iridescent ones can draw some color and make something look purple or pink or blue, and it can kind of throw off your color scheme, but these are nice sparkling clear. All of you, thank you so much. I do not see any questions. I want to say thanks again for joining me. I'll be back here again next week, I believe. So far, let's see what I have for next week. We should be here live on Friday for sure, and there may be another live stream sprinkled in there, so be sure you're following me over on Instagram for all the updates on that. It probably won't be Monday, but it's Carissa at sprinkledwithglitter.com, and you can always go over to sprinkledwithglitter.com where there's more inspiration. I have products that I love, retailers that I love, all those things over there. And there's also a contact me form there. Thanks again for watching. I'm so glad you're here. And until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day. Thanks so much for stopping by and hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe and turn on the notifications here on my YouTube channel so you don't miss any of my card making and paper crafting video tutorials. Thanks again, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.